Hey, g'day, and welcome to another episode of Surviving Mars. In this one, we're actually going to go through and have a look at the spires. So the spires we actually find, or the dome spires, we find within the certain tab within the actual building phase themselves. Now, currently in this build, in this game, there are 6 available spires, and each of those spires are actually found through the research, obviously randomly, that you're probably finding as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of the spires and just sort of go into a little bit more depth and how they can benefit you in the game as you're playing itself. All right. So let's go with the first spire. Might as well do them in the order. The Arcology. So the Arcology provides a living space for numerous colonists, granting high comfort. Now it does cost 64 concrete and 10 polymers. And here we go right here. So the Arcology is the one that looks nice and it sticks outside the dome at the top. And you know, it's got a place there for 32 residents. Now what it also does is you do have an upgrade option. So now with the upgrade option, you can upgrade with a construction cost of 10 more polymers that would actually give an additional 10 service comfort. And that upgrade option also comes through your research as well. The next one we have, now we'll go back with this one in here. Now I don't generally use this one. The only reason I would use this one is maybe if I was having a bit of a breeding dome, but I find that I would probably use something that would have more benefit for the dome as a priority. If I needed to make space for accommodation, then I potentially would actually use this spire itself. Okay, so we'll just do that. The next one we had is the Hanging Gardens. Now this one here is a beautiful park complex and increases the comfort of the residents within the dome themselves. So let's zoom out, and I've got one here just so you can actually sort of see it and see it up close. So the Hanging Gardens, as we have, yes, it's a beautiful park, and it allows the residents, as it says, to sit in there and actually enjoy the actual park itself, as you can see that they're doing there. Just sitting there enjoying their park. Now when you go click on it itself, obviously it just tells you how many are in there at the moment, how many have been there, and how many have been there for a lifetime. As you can see, I haven't had a lot for a lifetime because I've literally built it for this demonstration. Once again, it's not generally something that I build. When you've only got one spire, I would certainly probably focus on a couple of other spires. I think we've got someone there just laying down in the park on the top. There you go. See, Mars isn't all that bad. All right, next one. Water reclamation. Well, there you go. Recycles up to 70% of water used within the dome. Now this, and I'm sure most of you have actually tried this one, is definitely something that's worth having. So let's go over to this one here, where we have got the water reclamation. So this case here, it also employs people. So it doesn't employ a lot of people, but certainly having them over 2 shifts, if you don't want to have the sanity breaks, or having them over 3 shifts, there's 6 people, but it recycles 70% of your water. So in this case here, I use it for this dome because this is predominantly my growing dome. This is my dome that basically I do all my farming, and from there obviously I ship my farms out. So basically I've tried to create hubs of domes, and therefore tried to maximize such things as certain traits and certain areas with the domes themselves when I build my domes. Okay, let's have a look at our next one. Our next one is our network dome. So the network dome increases the overall research output of the dome. Now, although I haven't used this, we do have one up here. This is a fantastic little Spire for a couple of reasons. Is first of all, obviously, it's a great employer, and for those that have been playing the game for a while, you realise that late game, when you become and you add a lot of technology, you struggle to find employment, and you get a lot of unemployed. So this is a good one for employing. And if you create a dome that is about breeding, about school, about, or in this case here, about the research, so you're sort of focusing a lot on research, this would be an excellent output for it as well. Now it also has an amplification or a construction. So once again, through your research, you can get a plus 25% performance. So what I would recommend for this one, I think this is a good one, and I think once you've actually got some spare spare domes sitting around, after you've sort of started grown, I think you could probably create a research dome, and within the research dome, then you would probably put, let's say, this spire, and I think you'd get a great benefit. So if I look at my research at the moment, I've got my initial 500 that I got from my sponsor. Outsourcing, just because of the amount of funds that you get sort of mid to late game. Research labs, I'd actually shut down all my research labs and moved them into Hawkins Institutes, because obviously the institutes make so much more, give you so many more research points. And then we're going to come into the next one with sanity and changing traits, and obviously the more genius colonists you get, you can just see the points there, your explorer and your Omega telescope, but that's actually obviously a wonder, this one here, which is the Omega telescope. Okay, so that's the research one. So I think I will explore more with this Spire. I just haven't done it at the moment, and I think I'll probably play around and maybe delete some of these things and turn this into a bit of a research dome and try and maximize that. Okay, the next one. Sanatorium. All right, actually, we're going to go to medical center, then we're going to go to sanatorium, because I think the sanatorium is probably the best one to start off with in the beginning of the game. Visitors will recover health, sanity, as long as they're not starving, dehydrated, or freezing. Larger capacity and more effective than an infirmary. A dome with a medical building has a lower minimal comfort required for births. Okay, so let's zoom out, and I think I've built one over here somewhere. There we go, there's our medical dome. So that's what it looks like, sitting in there, just a big research station. And as it says, it not only it employs people, so it does employ more than your actual infirmary. It actually has a it can take in more people, it has a better recovery rate, and then the upgrade allows people to actually visit for relaxation. So you can see at the top of the dome there, it's just a little bit of an area where people can go in for relaxation. All right, that's the medical one. I haven't actually really used this in real game. I personally, I wouldn't prioritize it. I think there's certainly others that can bring benefits, but maybe in late game, once you've stabilized a bit, maybe it was something that I would bring in. But with one Spire, I think there's other priorities in the middle, or the beginning or the end game. The last one we got, the Sanatorium, and I think this is a fantastic one. So it treats your colonists for flaws through advanced humane medical practices. So what does this mean? Now, if you're not using this at the moment, use it. So basically, here is your Sanatorium. Looks nice. Obviously, everyone goes up to the top. It doesn't employ people, it treats them for flaws. So in this case here, we're treating for gamblers, cowards, and chronic conditions, and you get a choice of 6 or 7 that you can actually do here. So let's just get rid of that. So let's try, see if we've got any alcoholics. Let's see if we've got any gluttons. And melancholic. So that will actually, or when I take it off a pause, it will actually bring people in, if there's people in this dome with those flaws. So as you can see, it's not filling up quickly because this thing has removed those 6 flaws. So I'm not having people overeating, I'm not having people sort of as alcoholics that that have those traits that do damage to your colony. So we do have a few that we want to oversee. Alcoholic, already fixed up. Alcoholic, so we can fix those as well. Not only do we have that, one of the great things I find is if you mix, where is it? There's your Sanatorium, obviously in this mold, but this one here, behavioural meddling. Okay, so the behavioural meddling upgrade means that it replaces flaws with random perks. So not only do you get rid of alcoholic or you get rid of glutton, it replaces it with a perk. And that itself combined, just haven't done it on this one, is an excellent advantage. So you get someone coming in with a flaw, they walk out with another perk. And those perks could be, basically up to anything that you actually get. So it really is a really good one. So you can sort of see there how many flaws that we've got within our entire colony at the moment. So we're slowly tidying them up, but then when you can see the perks now, really high. So how I use this basically in early game, right through to sort of mid and late game you see here, but in this case here, this is my breeding dome. I've got my nurseries, I've got my early school, I've got my my university, and basically I'm making sure that any of the kids growing up, or the Martian-born kids, are having their flaws taken off of them straight away, and then they're going in and getting their education and coming out with skills as well. So by the time they're actually coming out with their skills, once they go to the university and get their specialists or the specializations that they need, then hopefully they're also coming out not only specialized, but with actually some good traits as well. All right, so thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that just quick video on just the spires, and hopefully it's given you some insights on which ones to focus on. I know the research at the beginning can be a little bit tough and you really need to focus your research points. My personal preferences would be Sanatorium to get rid of your flaws. Water reclamation when you're actually having your domes in order to manage your water issues or your water shortages. So having a dome that's sort of focusing on growing and harvesting sort of crops, then certainly the water reclamation in there as well. I am going to explore a little bit more on the network node. Arcology, definitely late game. Once you need sort of more housing and you're sort of playing around with some of the other things within the games themselves. And the medical and the hanging gardens,
a food shortage.
I would play a little bit more with that as well. So I think certainly I just want to sort of feel how these could come in use. I think if we have the larger domes where it allows you to have 2 spires, maybe then I would actually grab one of those potentially in those as well. But thank you very much. Don't forget to hit the follows, hit the subscribes, and I would it'll be great to see you in the next video. Thank you again, and see you in the next one. Bye.